All your base art belong to us.
Hello and welcome to Fake Geek Girls, a podcast looking at nerdy pop culture from both a fan and critical perspective, encouraging the things we love to do better. I'm Missy, I'm a writer, and unfortunately we had a version of this podcast that my computer decided it didn't want to open anymore. So I guess I'll just go fuck myself. So we're going to re-record this episode. Well, actually, I'll let Mary introduce herself before I go the fuck off.
I'm Mary, I'm a marketer, and all I hear is Missy speaking and her computer going ding ding.
It's very annoying.
It stopped now. I just had to mention it.
It's when I get, for whatever reason, my computer thinks that I need to see every single notification that occurred overnight. And I don't.
Are you sure?
I don't need that.
Computers know.
So this is our Emerald City Comic Con episode. Emerald City Comic Con was fucking 2 months ago now. I cannot stress how much my fucking life is in shambles.
I feel like we say this all the time.
That my life is in shambles?
That one of our lives is just falling apart.
My life has been in shambles since September of last year.
You do need a break.
I need a fucking break.
I'm doing well.
Yeah. My life is in shambles.
You need a break.
It's fine. I'm fine. It's just so much has happened. And so we recorded
Therapy's helping.
We recorded this episode and then my computer Audacity just decided it didn't want to open the file anymore. So the What We've Been Up To, where we talked about the interviews that we did at Emerald City Comic Con, we're like, yeah, listen to those. That isn't out yet because the episode vanished. So this is the episode where we will talk about Emerald City Comic Con and we will have our interviews with Ren
Thank
Strapp.
God that we did this separately, though.
I know.
Oh, it would have been horrible.
I would have been so angry. Our interviews with Ren Strapp and Becca Farrow will be in this episode in that order, and we will just very quickly rehash the discussion that we had about this year's Emerald City Comic Con.
You should copy those and save them somewhere just in case.
Oh, I have them. Okay. I have the original files and I have the edited.
Okay.
So Emerald City Comic Con is
it's a convention.
It's our local convention. It's owned by Reed Pop, and I'm sure you've heard us kind of grouse before about the changes that have taken place since Reed Pop took it over. And here's my perspective as somebody who works in comics and doesn't go to a lot of comic shows, but I go to a couple of our local ones, and then I also go to San Diego Comic Con, which is still independently run,
which is crazy.
Emerald City Comic Con, of the artist alleys that I have been to, used to be the best. And I say that because there is an interesting diversity of artists, generally speaking. But over time, I feel that art and comics have been kind of set aside in favor of acrylic keychains and
as if they are the same.
Yeah. And I will say that Ren Strapp, who we interview in this episode, and I can link to her blog post about it, said that this year comics, actual comics, sold better than almost anything else, that makes me so happy. That brings me so much fucking joy. It is very
interesting, and I'm curious why.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing is, no matter how much you love prints, if you go to Comic-Con for a few, you're gonna fucking run out of space.
This is true.
Ask me how I know.
Space on your walls.
Yeah. I think especially, and we talked about this with Pam Wishbow, actually, who's a Seattle-based illustrator and artist. We were talking with her about the fact that she hand makes and does lino cut and various other art forms that are by necessity human made and sometimes have flaws. And we were talking about the fact that more and more people are seeking that out because of the slickness of AI art. And I don't think AI art is allowed at Emerald City Comic Con. I truly can't remember, but I feel like they did add a policy about it.
But I know if you find out, everyone will shame you.
Yeah, for sure. And so I do wonder if maybe that's part of why people are gravitating to comics as something human made.
Well, I'm curious too. So
We didn't even talk about this in the original
I know,
episode.
we're already doing better. On Instagram, I keep getting stuff about how specifically younger women are getting really into cyberdex. And it's just like wanting to connect to something that cannot be online or connect to something is your own, that you've created, that you've hacked, that you've done. And so I'm curious if it's more of like wanting to connect to if there is an aspect of wanting to connect to something that cannot be connected to otherwise. Mm-hmm. You have this, it's in your hand. No one can take it from you. You can read it whenever you want. You don't need anything for it except for the pieces of paper in your hand. So I'm wondering if it's just a trend that's going backwards. I'm hope and I'm curious if we'll just see that continue.
Yeah.
Just because what's popular now is like this online stuff, and what do kids do? They rebel about what's popular. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this pendulum, and I hope we do.
Yeah. So in comparison to some other comic conventions, Emerald City Comic Con has traditionally had a very good artist alley, like a good mixture of stuff. I do feel like the curation has been kind of a bummer over the last few years, not because like there's bad artists, but just because there's a lot of kind of samey stuff and a shift away from comics toward just fan art, which I have no problem with fan art. I have no problem with things like cosplay. I think they're an expression of love in the same way that anything else is. My problem is never with the people doing these things, but rather with the curation process taking place at a high level at ReedPop. Because what ends up happening is that like artists get shoved down to the basement with the Funko Pop vendors. Mm-hmm.
Or to a completely different building.
That was
bizarre. There were a whole section of people that I couldn't figure out why were in a completely different building.
Yeah.
The original building.
Yeah. And it's just...
Which I prefer.
I also prefer... Well, I like the new building. It's just... And we almost had the exact same version of this transition in the original, mm-hmm. which is the panel rooms in the new building are so small. And like, as a result... I think the panels are like non-existent anymore.
It's crazy because I feel like that is an opportunity to have these smaller panels because you do a panel in a bigger room. It's not very popular. 10 people show up. That's 10 people, but in a big room that looks very small.
Right.
If you have it in a smaller room, 10 people show up. That looks like it's half full. Like that's pretty good. I mean, 10 people's pretty good. So I feel like these are opportunities to have smaller panels that don't look like nobody came. There's so much opportunity here. They make enough money. Why isn't it happening?
Because they want to make more money.
But they could still have these things.
I know,
but still have that.
They're trying to maximize money at every possible level, and the result is that the convention really has gotten worse. And that doesn't mean that it's a bad convention or not worth going to. Mm-mm. It's just like we still go every year, and I still have a good time every mm-hmm. year. Like I come home with a bunch of zines I'm really excited about. There is so much interesting original artwork there. And there's like really great fan art too. I come home with fan art every year. Like it's not, I'm always like very kind of cautious about like what I say to like make it clear that I'm not like shaming fan art or cosplay or anything like that. It's just that ReedPop as a company that owns Emerald City Comic Con knows that what makes the most money is celebrities, because they can charge for photos, they can charge for selfies, they can charge for autographs, and they can charge for the ticket to see them at their big panel. Cosplay, because all of the panels this year were about cosplay. There were so many about cosplay.
K-pop, and any type of Jedi dancing, something, a physical thing to do, which is cool.
And it's not like these things have no place at Comic-Con. Like I believe
they do have a place there.
I believe that they absolutely have a place there. What I would like to see is like maybe an emphasis on perhaps comics. Hear me out. I would like to see our art. I always think about the fact that like I didn't go to this panel, but several of my friends went to a panel called How to Draw a Horse, and it was just done by this artist who was like sick and tired of seeing people draw horses like very poorly, and so the whole panel was in fact about how to draw a horse. That
That's
rules.
Amazing. That's
like
amazing.
That's the kind of shit I want to see, and I think ReedPop, like you mentioned I don't know why I keep referencing something nobody's ever heard, but you mentioned in our last episode, the last version of this episode, the fact that like they introduced a like sort of book driven stage in the main
in the
hall.
middle of the hall,
and like cool idea to catch people as they're walking by, you know, like maybe you hear an interesting conversation, you choose to sit down, but also it was like way off to the side.
I think they thought it would be this. I think here's my tin hat theory. The ladies. They love book talk.
Yeah.
The ladies, they're so loud because they're ladies. The ladies are going to hear us talking about the books from the book talk and the boys from the book talk with their wings and their big dicks and whatever. And they're all going to scream and they're going to come over like the fucking Beatles are playing. And then we're going to have everybody screaming. And I bet you that's how it's going to go. I'm so smart, says this man who's I don't know if it's a man. I just think that they expected the book talk girlies to show up. And guess what? Book talk girlies exist online.
Yeah.
They're not a monolith of women who read certain books.
Yeah.
I read a lot of those books too, but I did not care. Maybe there was a good panel there, but I felt it was weird.
There were a couple of panels I wanted to go to on that stage, but they were, we ended up having technical difficulties in our interview with Becca Farrow that we had to push it later so that we could do that. But Emerald City Comic Con is still a good convention and I still like going to it, but it has shifted pretty dramatically to general pop culture, which again, I don't think is an inherently bad thing. The problem is that it has shifted so far in that direction that I feel like all of the energy is now put toward that.
Yeah.
And I would like to see a little more diversity because like, why don't we use the big budget stuff to fund the like stuff that makes a comic convention what it is? And I am heartened to hear like from Ren Strapp's blog post, which I'll link to in the show notes, provided I remember, that a lot of people were buying comics this year. And she talked to other artists who said similarly, like their comics sold very well.
I think there's a really big missed opportunity. Obviously, there's a big missed opportunity. We had these things when we went originally 10 years ago. We had
more than 10.
More than 10. We
like
had
15.
These amazing panels that were really thought-provoking and stuff like that. And then they went away from them because Marvel type, I'm not saying Marvel, but I'm saying this like Marvel type fandom became very popular and it was easy to fall into that and to put money into that.
Go ahead.
I think what they're not understanding now is that a lot of that has branched off and people fucking love a fucking YouTube essay.
Yes.
And these people will come and sit on those very interesting panels to get those YouTube essayists. Imagine if like some of the ones you liked were like, that'd be amazing. I think that's a huge missed opportunity because people like long form essays on YouTube.
They do.
Why don't we just find the popular ones at least? Maybe find at least the popular ones and put them there and have these amazing conversations that we have had in the past. And I can't even remember some of them because they were so long ago, but they were, panels were always my favorite part of a convention. Always. Nothing. And now they're just like, I don't think there was one I was like, okay, that's the one I really want to go to.
The only panel I went to this year was my works panel.
Yeah, I went to that one to support you. It was interesting.
It was interesting. I work for Fantagraphics, so this was our 50-year anniversary panel. So it was
very fun and cute.
Yeah, it was, what is the history of this company that has such a presence in alt comics and that kind of thing?
Honestly, like a lot of it is exactly what we're asking from Comic-Con. This like, bring it back to what it was and let people not be shiny toy objects that we've put in front of us for money.
The things that we were seeing 10 or 15 years ago, like people still want that stuff. It's just, why don't we take the spotlight that is entirely on, say, Jurassic World and divert a fraction of that to current comic artists?
It's sad because I do think that, and I'm sure you agree that GeekOCon is doing this, but GeekOCon is losing funding. They cut their game section last year. I know they had to cut the ability to do masks because they didn't have enough people to enforce it. And I am sad that the convention that is doing that is not doing as well. And there's something to say about that Comic-Con is doing well. There's clearly there's something there. We need to find the middle ground here.
Well, it does help that they charge $10 bajillion and that they have every celebrity under the sun there to take a picture with.
Yeah, but GeekOCon isn't willing to do. Not that they're not willing to do it, it's that they won't give up their morals to do it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and I agree with that they shouldn't. I just wish that there was some way for them to just take the money.
I know.
We should take the money. We should steal money.
We should steal money and give it to Geek Girl Con.
Yeah.
And like even the like I'm not opposed to things like celebrity panels. Like it's people love that.
I've been to them.
I have too. The Mummy one, the Hannibal one. The Hannibal one is like a perfect illustration to me because like Hannibal, I fucking love Hannibal. We did an episode on Hannibal. You've heard how like deep and rich and thematically interesting I find Hannibal. The panel was just a pop culture journalist who is essentially a micro celebrity in their own right at this point. You see them on YouTube, you see them on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever. The moderators for these panels are kind of micro celebrities interviewing two celebrities, Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy. And that can be an interesting conversation, right? It's not that Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen have nothing interesting to say about the creation of Hannibal. What I want to see as a writer, as a particular, like a specific kind of fan, I'm a specific kind of fan. Not every fan is like me. And I'm
one of a kind.
I shouldn't be the sole type of fan that a convention like this should cater to. However, Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy are only one part of the creation of something as gorgeous and thematically interesting as Hannibal, right? And yet all of these panels avoid directors, they avoid writers, they avoid cinematographers who are just as instrumental to the storytelling process of a show like Hannibal as everybody else. Like, fuck the food stylist. If they got the food stylist on there, I would be...
That would have been really interesting.
Right. I want to know how Hannibal was made, not just what Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy, who are only one part of the process, thought about the creation of Hannibal. But celebrities are the draw. Now, I don't think if you put Brian Fuller on this panel that people would not come. People are coming for Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen. Brian Fuller's presence is not going to mean that people won't show up. You know what I mean?
I've been to two celebrity panels. I've been to the Mummy one that I can remember. And I went to one that was done by Ashley Eckstein and Dave Filoni's wife, which sounds really weird, but that thing was full to the brim. And it was before we found out that Ahsoka came back in Rebel. We didn't know where Ahsoka was at this point. She could have been dead. And it was so pop. But we had Dave Filoni's wife, who is still influential on him as a person. But like, it was so interesting to have, she called him and was like, hey, we have a question for you. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's just Ashley Eckstein, who's friends with Dave Filoni's wife. And they're like, hey, do you want to do a panel all about Ahsoka? Yeah, that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And there you have a take on it that is not just the creation of content, because that's what a lot of these panels end up being, is just like sound bites and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, I go every year to the whatever interview with the vampire panel they're doing at San Diego Comic-Con. I make time. I'm working at San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm like, hey, I gotta go because this is the one thing on this fucking earth that I care about. And the panel is a mixture of the people who play the characters and the showrunners.
Yeah, and that's cool, and that's fun, and that's interesting.
Yeah, and like I am as interested in what Sam Reed brings to Lestat as what's his name, Roland James. I'm as interested in what I want to know what those two are doing to bring to Lestat. I want to know what Jacob Anderson is bringing to Louis. I want to know how a thing is made, and those panels are fucking full.
I think that people who make a lot of money underestimate how smart people are.
I agree.
I think that they think no one's going to want to do this, that, or this because they want to come do something fun and move on. And you can come do something fun, learn a bunch of stuff, and still move on because we are humans with brains.
Yeah. Like
2 brains, in fact.
Oh my God. We can't. Like I said, I will probably keep going to Emerald City Comic Con as long as I'm allowed to go to Emerald City Comic Con. I always
eventually they'll tell you can't go.
They might, when they hear me shit talking it again. I will keep going because I genuinely love going. I love seeing new artists. I love seeing the changes.
We always hope it'll be different the next time.
We always hope it'll be different the next time.
There was one year where we had like 2 or 3 panels. It was like, these are good.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the things that I used to go to Emerald City Comic Con 4 are now being served better by other conventions. This is still one of the largest artist alleys in the conventions that I regularly go to. I wish that I could go to Rose City Comic Con, which is a genuinely wonderful convention, but it is always the same week as PAX. Or no, I think it might be the week before, and that's also the week of Worldcon, which serves my panel needs.
Yeah, see, I would like that one.
I think you would really enjoy Worldcon, and Worldcon is very like book heavy, but like I went to that incredible panel last year about Vertigo comics.
I just like listening to smart things.
Yeah.
So, as we know, I'm not smart. I'm straight and a woman.
It's not,
and so therefore.
None of that is true.
None of that all of that means I just can't do anything.
Mary can't do anything.
I don't know what Beltane is.
So like a lot of these needs that Emerald City Comic Con used to serve as kind of a one-stop shop for me no longer apply. Which is a bummer, but that's not to say there's not good work there, because there absolutely is. I mean, this episode we're interviewing Ren Strapp and Becca Farrow, 2 creators whose work I love. I love both of them, and Becca Farrow I found online because she's not a local, but Ren Strapp is from the Portland area, and the way that I picked up one of her comics, the first one I read by her, which is The Shepherd's Sword, which we talk about briefly, was just by walking around the con floor, picking up a thing that looked interesting, reading the summary on the back and being like, yes, please.
Take my money.
I will give you $10.
It's always fun. There's always talented people there. It's just some decisions made by people who want to make money make things not as good.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
A bummer, because it could be so good.
I just like, and I always think about the fact that the first or second year we went to Emerald City Comic Con, one of the special guests was the guy who played Spock. Why am I drawing a blank?
Mr. Man.
Mr. Man, who played Spock.
Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, thank you. One of the special guests was Leonard Nimoy. And Leonard Nimoy, I think, is kind of he was kind of known for being maybe a little bit bitter that Spock was his best known role, and so
because he's like an actor,
he's like an actor, and I do think that maybe some people, this may have rubbed people the wrong way, but he was like reading poetry at his
it's amazing
at his panel, and I was like, I love this. I love getting to now. Would I love that? Yes, I fucking would. That's definitely like something that I would appreciate. But also, like, I don't watch Star Trek at the time. I went to the panel because I was interested to know about Leonard Nimoy, like a big feature in the sci-fi fantasy community. So I went to the panel, and what I learned is that he's more than some dude on a TV show that I used to watch.
Poetry. I take it back. I did go to another celebrity panel, I remember, years and years and years ago. You, I believe, were there too. Rainn Wilson.
I don't think I went to the Rainn. No, I think I did. Yes. It was when he was promoting Super.
Yes. And in the middle of it, our local vigilante superhero walked down the fucking hall and it was like this insane moment of like, here's Rainn Wilson and here comes our local vigilante superhero walking. Everybody's cheering because everybody who's around here knows who he is. Yes. And Rainn Wilson's local as well. Yeah. And so he like they're all excited. I'm pretty sure they probably knew each other. It seemed as though they knew each other previously, but everyone's excited. And it was just this insane moment of like real like hilarity and just like a real life vigilante superhero shows up at Comic-Con at Rainn. Like if we want to create something with that's what I'm expecting to see, baby. I want to see my real life fucking superhero walk in and everybody go crazy. Yeah. And it's not like these things are impossible. It's just that it feels increasingly like ReedPop is prioritizing the celebrity cosplay, acrylic, standee style of fandom, which has its place. Again, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying we need to get rid of those things. It's just like, where are the other parts of it? Yeah. Why? I feel like Emerald City Comic Con needs to be making an effort to be curating panels with people like Ren Strapp. You know what I mean? Like, why is the onus on those creators who already have, their day jobs and then also their artist jobs? Why is the onus on them to be doing that? Why is Emerald City Comic Con not courting them? Well, next year we'll do a panel. We'll submit a panel, and if they don't approve it, then we know they're bad people.
And that's the judge.
That's how we know.
Something like we have submitted panels to Emerald City Comic Con before,
right.
and we submitted one that was about monster romance. And our plan,
we would have been good.
We would have been
so
good. We had a solid pitch. We already had like 4 different contributors. All of this kind of stuff. Our panel was rejected. That's not the issue. The issue is not that our panel was rejected. Of course, there are many reasons. However, a very similar panel with people more famous than us with less depth was approved. And that's the kind of thing where I'm just like, I can see what you want. Fake Geek Girls is probably not going to get somebody to buy a ticket.
No.
I don't remember who is on this other panel. It doesn't matter.
People we knew.
Yeah, they might get you to buy a ticket. But panels don't really get anybody to buy a ticket because the tickets go on sale way before they fucking announce the schedule.
Yeah.
They
want to fill the seats, but you only fill so many seats with some random people a lot of people know if they're only talking about, like, you want people to go away and learn something great.
Not every panel needs to be David Tennant sized. You know what I mean?
A really good example of a panel I came out knowing so much and it was at PAX, the one about children's safety online. That was so good.
Yes.
It was so good and informative. It made me cry. It was great. It was a
really
wonderful.
Good panel.
And that is simply educational. And guess what? It was full.
Yeah.
It was totally full because people want that. You just need to find what people want. And it isn't always just a celebrity.
Yeah.
And when you pack it full of celebrities or things like that, yeah, people are going to go because what else are they going to do?
And I believe that section, there was the section of Emerald City Comic Con where Ren Strapp was with a lot of other creators that was sponsored by Webtoon. And Ren Strapp talks about this in our interview about Webtoon as kind of the future of pulp, but also of this there's a lot of very fresh, interesting work being done on Webtoon. Because it almost has that kind of direct to consumer, it's going directly to the people who want to read it.
It's like KU, Kindle Unlimited.
Oh yeah,
but less bad. Bad being Amazon.
Right. The fact that that area was curated by Webtoon is cool and interesting and great. I'm glad it happened. Why isn't Emerald City Comic Con doing that work? You know what I mean? I want to see panels that are curated by...
I don't think they curate anything. I think they see what they get.
Yeah.
That's the issue, is I think they see what they get. I don't think that they care.
And from a behind the scenes perspective, I know that this is true, at least in some ways. They want things to happen, but if you don't do them, then they just go, why didn't you do it? And it's because you make it fucking impossible.
I think that PAX is a semi-good example of... So after the pandemic happened, these conventions didn't sell out like they used to. Emerald City
still not.
Yeah, Emerald City used to sell out. PAX would sell out within a day.
Yeah.
You had to be on it. We had text messages coming to our phone and we had to buy right away.
Yes.
After the pandemic, that didn't happen. That didn't happen for a lot of things, right?
Right.
I think PAX has done really well in building back up. They're still not selling up, but I think they've done well building back up what's interesting.
PAX is adjusting. I am seeing
adjusting.
that PAX is adjusting their content to serve the attendees of PAX.
They have to, though, because their big ones are gone. The big people who used to be there used to go and see a fucking dinosaur. Those people are gone. That's just not. So they have to adjust.
We have influencers.
Yes.
Now. Yes. We don't need you to go in person.
Exactly. So
what do we do to replace that?
Exactly. And I feel it's slow, and I don't, I wish that they would do more, but I see a noticeable change.
Yes.
Whereas Emerald City Comic Con is just trying to, this might punch in anything that they can that they think will make money, not what will actually bring people and keep people be wow, I came away learning so much.
Yeah.
People do want to learn. I don't think people understand. Everybody wants to learn whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
And I think that the internet makes people feel everybody just wants to look at something, consume as quick as you can. I had this conversation with my boss because one of the people we hired to do our blogs was like, I'm trying to make it shorter because I can see in your past blogs they're a lot shorter. My boss was like, don't listen to that. There was a bunch of people who thought that things need to be easily consumed and quick as fast as you can. She's like, that's not how it works. And like it was an old mentality versus a new mentality of being like, no, actually,
from a marketing
people
perspective,
want that.
From a marketing perspective, the thing that needs to be done is the thing that people respond to.
Yes.
So what are people responding to at Emerald City Comic Con?
I think they're
and you know what they're responding to per Ren Strapp? Comics.
I think what they're banking on is the books.
Yeah.
That's what I think, because the one place we did see something different was the books. They still haven't figured out how to have that book area not be really weird.
Yeah.
But I think that is where they think it's going to be their place where they can be like, and like, we've done this. But they gotta realize that this community online is online. Like, they're online people. In real life, these people are not acting like they are online. They're not the same.
Right.
We cannot court somebody and think they're going to act a certain way and only that's how I really feel like they thought putting that there will get all the book girlies coming.
Yeah.
Whatever. But and that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think there was one time I heard people cheering, but I didn't see that thing full. It was just awkward. It was just weird. Yeah. If I had my table there, it would have been weird if there were people screaming. Like,
so WorldCon is a really interesting convention for a lot of reasons, and not the things that work at WorldCon are not going to work universally at Emerald City Comic Con. But if you want to foster discussion, this is a crazy thing that happened at WorldCon is that they use round tables in the seating area.
I love that.
So, and people at WorldCon are generally, I would say, of the conventions that I've been to, WorldCon is by far the friendliest.
That's
Everybody
so funny.
wants to chit chat. So, like, I sat down at a table to have my sandwich, and immediately the people at the table started talking to me.
That's so different.
It's so different, but like the fact of having these round tables in the lunch area.
We have round tables in their lunch.
They do, but they also have like small tables.
Yes.
These were large round tables. You sit down and like, again, the culture of WorldCon is very different. But that doesn't mean that the culture of Emerald City Comic Con has changed over time too. So why can't it change in a different way? If you want to foster, say, the book talk girlies, have the book talk girly section of the lunch area, right?
Yeah, that would have been, and have each table
a themed table.
Why don't they hire
like
that would have been really cool of like sit down at anything, like read like, and then people who write those types of books could have had samples of their books at that theme, and then like where to find them.
Like,
so smart.
These things are not impossible to do.
No, they're not.
And like I said, I will keep going to Emerald City Comic Con. There are still people there doing incredible work. I'm always finding zines and stuff by people I've never heard of before, as well as my old favorites. And I never regret going. I never regret the like random when I just pick up a zine from somewhere and I'm like, this looks cool.
And
it's great. Like, I love that stuff. What I want from Emerald City Comic Con is for Read Pop to understand that the lifeblood of these conventions is not trotting out the stars of Jurassic World, but courting the next generation of people who are making the work that is going to become Jurassic World. Now, okay, Jurassic World is a crazy thing to say.
I just don't think they think that'll make money.
And
it probably won't.
It won't, but you use Jurassic World stars to fund the interesting stuff that you're doing.
Why fund that when they can fund their own wallets?
Yeah, you know,
the Emerald City kids area was okay. It was all right, but having the Seattle Public Library there and like just giving out cool stuff like a Sasquatch foot to put on your finger and a water bottle my kid uses, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. But it was still a kids section with kids that don't behave well.
Yeah, I want Emerald City Comic Con to be not just the same as every pop culture convention. I want it to be Emerald City Comic Con, and it is every day we stray further from that ideal.
We should go to Crypticon. Bob always wants to go to Crypticon because you never go. And I'm like, I think there's a reason. It's during something.
Oh yeah.
But it's supposed to be fun.
Do you have anything else to say about
No, I still had a really good time.
Yeah, I still have a great time.
I took my kid. It was very fun. She had a great time. She loves seeing people. She's really big, so I carried her, and it was horrible. But she had a really good time. She found some kids to play with at one point, and so I'm excited about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I just wish I wish we could the good old days, right? Like I wish we could go back before Reed Pop bought it.
Yeah, or at least that Reed Pop was interested in preserving some degree of what it was.
They're just not.
They're not. And,
They're just
I
not.
think that is to the detriment of the convention.
And I think they'll find that out.
Like, just like as an example, a friend and I were both looking for fairly popular comics. I was looking for the omnibus edition of the Matt Fraction David Aha, I think it's Aha, I'm not 100% sure, run on Hawkeye, in an award-winning, extremely popular section that inspired the direction of the Hawkeye TV show. I was looking for that. My friend was looking for Die by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans.
Very popular,
award-winning. Like, we found one booth selling trade paperbacks that carried neither of those. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
to not
crazy.
be able to find two very popular award-winning comics at Emerald City Comic Con, and it's not the responsibility of this one single booth to carry
It's just that there were none.
Why was there only one?
Yeah.
It used to be that I could go to multiple books or multiple booths carrying trade paperbacks and come out with a whole bunch of stuff.
As you know from your work, it's not worth it for them.
It's not worth it. Well, that publishers, but also like retailers.
The Everett comic, your comic shop isn't there like it used to be. I just realized that. It's just not worth it for them
It's just
anymore.
not worth
It's too
it.
expensive. I think if you're local, you should get a discount.
I 100% agree.
If you're local, you should get a discount, and there should be like an income thing. If you make this much money,
a discount for carrying
the space
comics at Emerald City Comic Con. If you are a comics retailer, you should get a discount. If you are carrying Funko Pops or nothing but action figures with an extremely high profit margin, you do not need a discount.
If you have to be stuck in another building that no one's going to, you should get a heavy discount.
Yeah. It's just really frustrating. Like, it's very frustrating for a convention that I do love and that I have so many good memories from. It's disappointing because the quality of the work is still there. The interesting stuff going on is still there. It's not being prioritized whatsoever. Other people are having to take up the slack, like Webtoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that very, very frustrating, as a lover of this convention and as a lover of this comic scene.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many good, wonderful artists in the Pacific Northwest who are having to fight tooth and claw, to get invited to their hometown convention. And that really frustrates me. Boo, hiss, etc. One thing I did want to say, because I realized that we described the shepherd sword in our interview with Ren Strapp. We did not describe Amira the Van Life Cunt. So just really quickly, Amira the Van Life Cunt is a 18 plus series about a woman named Amira who starts living the van life. She's a van life influencer. And she very desperately needs validation, and she often gets it in the form of her followers and sex. So it's a really fun queer sapphic series. I highly recommend it, but I realized I didn't give that description when we were talking about it.
It was very fun.
It was really fun. So that's what it's about when we talk about it in these interviews. So first, you're going to hear the interview with Ren Strapp, creator of Shepherd Sword, Amir the Van Life Cunt, and the graphic novel How Could You? And then second will be the interview with Becca Farrow, who we actually interviewed a long time ago, who did the artwork for the first test graphic novel, as well as a bunch of lovely art otherwise. So without further ado, here's those interviews. Hello, we are here today. We're gathered here today at Emerald City Comic Con. And today we're talking to Ren Strapp, a Portland-based cartoonist behind the Shepherd Sword, Amira the Van Life Cunt, and the graphic novel How Could You? Thank you so much for joining us today, Ren, here on the Emerald City Comic Con floor.
Yes, right by the exit doors.
Yeah. If you hear a door opening and closing, that's because it is.
Don't worry.
People are hard at work behind the scenes.
Absolutely. So, Ren, I found your work just from wandering around the convention, and your description, I think, of the shepherd's sword is what initially drew me in, because I think it was, I know you said it was like pulp, Appalachian, werewolf, lesbian. There was some combination of those.
Yeah, that sounds about
And
right.
Missy said,
yes.
done.
Yeah, did you
it.
also at one point, this is not one of my questions, but I'm going to ask it anyway, did you at one point sell a keychain that just said the word pulp on it?
No, I think I vaguely remember who did, but it escapes me now. I did do Cover Me Queer with Nova Mali. They're an indie queer publisher. They did an anthology called Cover Me Queer, which was just like based on mid 20th century pulp covers.
Okay.
That's cool.
So I definitely, that's kind of like where I was like, wow, I actually really like camp. I like pulp. This is fun.
Yes. So returning to that idea of pulp, something that really interests me about your work is that you kind of wholeheartedly embrace the idea of pulp, even using it to describe the shepherd's sword. Pulp, for people who aren't familiar with the term, kind of originated as almost like a derogatory descriptor for lowbrow art. Like pulp was something that was like printed on shitty paper and that could be pulped and reused again. So what makes you want to embrace the term pulp, and why do you apply it to your work?
I think that it started for me as like a way to kind of excuse how rudimentary I felt my work was, and kind of like couch a little bit of like tongue-in-cheek like insecurity that I would have about like doing my very first comic. And the more that I thought about it, the more that I like leaned into what that could be. Like when something is considered pulp, there's no restriction on like, can it be queer? Can it be sexy? Like, does it have to be highbrow? Does it have to meet these markers? And I was like, I don't want to meet those markers. I want it to be just for me and what I like. So if that makes it pulpy, so be it. And I think that the historical parallel between what pulp fiction was and what webcomics are now is like very similar, where it is very like self-indulgent. It's for a niche audience. Maybe it's just for yourself, and people are turning these things out like regularly, and it's kind of consumed in like a very fun way that, you know, not everybody like applies an analytical mindset to it. You're just invited to have fun. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how I feel making the Shepherd's Sword, and that's how I want people to feel reading not just the Shepherd's Sword or Amira, but like you know, any kind of comic that like somebody else is putting their heart into in like a fun, silly way.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
There's something really wonderful too about like art that feels self-indulgent, because it almost never is. There's always a little freak out there who's exactly like you in one way or another, and they are waiting for your self-indulgent art.
Yes, exactly.
And that is my encouragement to all of you listening. There is somebody out there who wants the thing that you're like, oh, this is kind of a little freaky. They want it. There's somebody out there who wants exactly that.
That's how I felt making Lesbian Gender Outlaw. That's one of my 6-page comics. That's just about like the concept of gender as a lesbian, as told by a cowboy. And it was a comic that I had wanted to make for a really long time and didn't, because I was like, nobody's going to get this. And I still keep printing it to this day. It's been like 3 years now, and people keep saying like, oh, this is me. I feel this way. So yeah, be exactly as self-indulgent as you want, because somebody else will get it.
Absolutely.
And just craving it.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks, oh, no one wants this.
Right.
And then you find it and they just eat it up.
Yes.
Yep. The beautiful Foley work. Changing gears a little bit, but only a little. Something we've been talking about recently on the podcast with regard to media we've been into lately is establishing and maintaining character in erotica. I happened to read Amira shortly after finishing Heated Rivalry, which I liked but did not love for reasons that we discussed on a previous episode. It's not a bad show. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Don't come for me.
Don't come for me. I don't think it's bad. I'm just
Says the Wuthering Heights lover.
I'm just a fucking snob. I happened to read Amira shortly after finishing Heated Rivalry, and was really struck by how quickly and efficiently, especially in the first volume, you establish and maintain character in a comic that's quite short and that is about half sex scene. So how do you approach that? Like, how do you approach putting character, I think, in the forefront of something that is like very sex focused?
It's so funny you ask me that, because I think I'm the weakest at character writing. And it's something that I wish I was stronger at doing. I feel like I put a lot of like draw from life a lot, and I feel like most artists do, but where I think I admire other people who are able to be like, this is my perfectly formed OC. I know everything about them. I know their personality, their likes, their dislikes. I can write in their voice. And I find that to be a challenge for me. So when I was working on Amira, that was one of the first times that like this character came fully formed to me, where I was like, I just want to write a self-indulgent, like, asshole influencer who's grappling with like trying to achieve internet fame and coming out of the pandemic, where I feel like a lot of people were like, I'm gonna buy a van and be a van life influencer. I was like, let's take a deep dive into what kind of person that might be, and I love her and I cherish her, and I love the way that she's kind of an asshole,
Yes.
and I love that about all of my characters.
And
I love an asshole.
same. We're big pro asshole.
Yeah.
We're thank girl.
We love big assholes.
We love big assholes. We can put that on a shirt. Oh my goodness. So personally, I feel that your characters are very well established.
Yeah.
Like,
It was surprising to hear you say that.
yeah, no, it was legitimately surprising to hear that, because I feel like, well, I'll actually go into a different question, because it's related. You have this way of writing characters who and I mean this is the biggest compliment. Again, we just said we love assholes.
Right.
You have a way of writing characters who really toe the line between being like kind of annoying and extremely charming and likable, thinking both of Amira and Wayne and Shepherd's Sword here. What draws you to characters like this, and how do you think about towing that line, or do you just think like, this is what I want to see?
I think that everybody is that type of way to somebody. You know?
Absolutely.
I think that everybody is a little bit annoying to somebody out there, or extremely annoying to somebody out there, and then charming and likable to somebody else. And so I think by exploring these characters who are little to big assholes, like, for me, I get to give myself permission to be kind of a fuck up, or to forgive past mistakes that I've made, and same with my friends. Like, there's just like an infinite amount of love and patience that I have for a lot of people in my life, that I want to invite others to join me here by loving like flawed characters who are kind of annoying, and just like giving that forgiveness to others and to yourself through the vehicle of my comics.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I love that.
Hold that right on my butt. I mean it. But
Yeah, no. for
People
sure.
are afraid of like liking an asshole. They're afraid they're gonna get like judged.
Right.
And I think we should all not do that.
Right, and like I grew up on Tumblr. Like in 2010, I was like exiting high school, and I started getting on Tumblr, and I feel like at that time there was like fandom discourse about like, oh, it's actually wrong for you to like an annoying character. Like, that character's morally bad, and if you like them, you're morally bad.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, I'm gonna push back against this so much in my career and in my work.
Yes.
Because I don't agree with that.
Absolutely.
That's something that we've talked about on a lot, because like I had kind of a similar but opposite thing where I was like, oh, I guess I am morally bad, because I'm always drawn to characters who suck ass. Like, I am completely drawn to characters who are terrible. So I struggled a lot with that for a long time, and actually doing this podcast kind of helped wrench me out of that mindset, and come to the conclusion that actually you can't consume your way. I think usually what I say is you can't consume your way to morality.
Absolutely.
No matter how many good characters I consume, it's not going to make me a moral
You're
person.
not getting to heaven.
I'm not getting into heaven. It's not happening for many reasons, but that's one of them. Returning to that idea of like depictions of sex and that kind of thing, when you're writing stuff like Amira, which is like, 18 plus, it has graphic sex in it, how do you approach character in those kinds of scenes? I think especially, and this might be getting too deep in the weeds, but I'm always curious because there's always like conversations about like who's a top, who's a bottom.
Right.
But it's like, I think real life is a little messier than that.
Yes, and I think that, one trope that I think is pretty common in real life, in my experience, is like somebody has top energy like in the streets but wants to be dominated in the bedroom, and vice versa. But yeah, I think that I like to ask myself, like, how would this person want to be treated? What kind of power dynamics this person wants to experience? And how do they interact when they have their clothes on? And then how do they interact when they don't have their clothes on? And like that power play dynamic that happens when that character interacts with multiple different people, which is what I'm experimenting with Amira, is like her in particular desire to be wanted and adored, and what lengths she will go to get that attention is primarily what drives like the kind of sex that she likes to have. So I think in that way, when I am writing sex, part of it is just like, what do I like as the author? But a lot of it is like, what does this character like to do? How does she like to feel? And how does sex like propel how she gets her greater like fulfillment?
Awesome. And I would just, as a personal recommendation for my fellow dirtbag likers out there, I definitely recommend Amira the Van Life Cunt, because there aren't enough girl dirtbags out there.
I agree. You know, I think we crucified Shane from the L word and we never recovered, and I would like to recover as a society.
Yes.
It's time.
Yep. We need it. We crave it. We need it.
It'll fix us.
It'll fix us.
Yeah,
My last real question here is, I wouldn't necessarily go so far to say that anything in like Amira the Van Life Cunt is necessarily taboo. In Volume 2, you have some cheating and that kind of thing, but there's nothing that in there where I'm just like, oh, this is beyond, like, this is making me uncomfortable. But then again, I'm me, so if you listen to the podcast, you know what I'm saying. But something I have noticed from your work is that you often include details that are rooted in the reality of the body, particularly in sex, even if those things are outside of what we might see in, like, romance. This goes for the Shepherd's Sword, too, where you have very realistic-looking breasts, you have armpit hair, and you have a whole zine dedicated to armpit hair.
Yes,
but,
it's
like,
true.
Aside from the obvious, this is hot, actually, aspect of this, what draws you to include details like this in your work that might be unpalatable to some readers?
Well, so, I mean, to get a little personal, growing up, I had like a major eating disorder, right? And then during the pandemic, my body changed a lot, and I was like, oh, I'm unlovable, I'm ugly now. And then I went on testosterone for a little bit, just like a little dose of tea, and I started going to the gym, and then I was like, oh, actually, you can do whatever you want with your body. It can be so small, it can be fat, it can be muscular. What matters is that you are happy, and I think that just like being able to see and recognize my body at any size and be like, that's me and that's mine, and it's going to keep changing throughout my life, made me feel like more whole and open and like loving to all types of bodies and wanting to explore that. And now I think everybody is hot, and that's so awesome, to just like get beyond the cop in your mind who wants you to be small and frail and be like, oh, I can love everybody. This is great, including myself.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. And I think about this particularly because not to out Mary. Mary's our straight friend.
Wow.
I know.
Mary's our straight
honored.
friend. Yeah.
Hello.
I'm very bisexual. We were preparing for this, and I was like, here, I'm gonna read Amira the Van Life Cunt. You're gonna read Amira the Van Life Cunt. And the scene that I was thinking of in particular is the scene where Amira is just like watching Juliet work out, and she's like very sweaty and like leaving like streaks on the workout equipment. And Mary's like, I'm straight, I think.
The gooch slut was not getting you. That's fair. That's fair. Understood.
We also had like a discussion about it of like bodies and stuff like that. And I just gave birth, so like to me, my body is like so foreign, despite like it looking the same. So when I'm seeing this body, I'm like, oh, I'm faced with like what my body looks like, and for me right now, that's very alien.
Right.
Having a child is not Like, it's weird.
Your body becomes a machine that's doing something else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work well. Like, your bodies aren't really good at having a baby. They're just not. And then they want to die.
Evolution says that you're supposed to be able to do that.
No, I got so mad when I was pregnant. I was like, why? My bones get worse. I'm sick easily. I got lactose intolerant.
Oh, that baby stole it from you.
Yeah. She's evil.
She's so evil. She's really cute.
No, she is really cute. And I'm not even a baby person. But the reason that I brought it up is just that, like, the physical reality of the body is something that's so interesting to me, especially in, like, visual representations of sex, because so often it's, like, really idealized. You don't see sweat, you don't see body hair, and that scene in particular is, like, it's so real. Is that something that you thought about while making it, or was it just like, this is what I want to see?
That's just what gets me going.
Awesome.
And so I wanted to put that in there.
Perfectly valid answer.
Yeah, and and I'll see Gunnar material out there where the girl is, like, basically childlike and hairless and small, and I'm like, oh, like, most people jerk off to that. That's crazy. I'm not gonna contribute to that. You guys can do that. I'm gonna do my thing.
Yeah,
and hopefully that is good for some people out there.
Awesome. On that note,
on Gunnar material.
Is there any questions we didn't ask? Anything else? I know we haven't talked about How Could You, which is your graphic novel through Oni Press, and Penguin Random House is the distributor.
Simon and Schuster.
Simon and Schuster. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're gonna get my ass.
They will get you.
Do you want to tell us just a little bit about that? I think it's what's the demographic for that one?
Yeah. How Could You is a YA new adult graphic novel. It's about a group of college students who are a queer friend group that is having, like, a major friend fallout because they're all in their early 20s and don't know how to communicate with each other. I think there is, like, a brief, like, getting hot and heavy, like, make out scene that fades to black. So there's, like, some, like, sexual innuendo in it, but it is definitely way tamer than a lot of my other work by virtue of it being traditionally published. And it was really great to work on it. I'm looking forward to my next trad pub thing. We have a pitch packet pretty much ready to go. My agent said, "Can you please take out this nipple?" And I was like, God damn it. So
not the nipple.
Yeah, trad pub is like that. Which is why I love being able to do webcomics and my own self-pub stuff and have that freedom.
Awesome.
Just a nipple?
Yeah, and I'm like,
that's interesting.
I mean, she's technically AMAB, so, like, is this really a bad nipple? You tell me? I don't know.
Fascinating stuff, honestly. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about you, your work? Any questions we didn't ask? Anything like that?
I'm so happy to be here at Emerald City. I'm going to be doing a couple different shows this year, mostly in the PNW, but you might be able to catch me in Chicago or New York. And I just put together a risograph reprinting of Invasive Species, which is a anthropomorphic plant girl ex-park ranger comic written by Mel Gilman, and it's about the evil invasive garlic mustard and what if she was in your mouth. So be on the lookout for that. It's a limited run, but Rezo printed at Outlet, so shout out Outlet.
Awesome. And where can people find more about you, your work?
You can find me at my website, Ren Strapp with 2 P's, RENStrap.com. I'm also on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Tumblr. The real ones know.
Yeah. And also you have a great newsletter. I hate social media, but I love a newsletter.
Love newsletters. I also have a blog on renstrap.com/blog. Updates weekly-ish, and I have an art feed. You can subscribe RSS style on my website as well if you are trying to avoid social media like I am.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
it was great talking to you.
Both. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks. Hello, we're here at Emerald City Comic Con, day 4. We're here with Becca Farrow, who we owe immense thank yous to because we have had technical difficulties and more than expected. Becca Farrow is a Wisconsin-based illustrator who you may know from her work with Boom, IDW, and Marvel, her incredible fan fiction and romance trope pin Kickstarters, or her work on the graphic novel adaptation of First Test, the Tamara Pierce novel, with Devin Grayson. You may also know her from appearing on our podcast 7 entire years ago, which is crazy.
An entire lifetime.
Yeah, truly. That was
had a whole kid.
Mary had a whole child.
A whole lifetime, yeah, for real.
We had a whole pandemic. You haven't been back to...
Yeah, not since 2019.
Since
That's
2019.
crazy. What made you decide, not to throw us off, but why did you decide to come back?
I love this show. Love Seattle too.
Yeah.
Seattle's good, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us what you've been up to in the meantime.
Well, I worked a lot on the graphic novel, The First Test.
I would like to just say really quickly that I re-listened to our interview with you, and you mentioned in that interview you had a big project. And now that big project is out in the world.
It is. You can get it at a bookstore.
Amazing. Sorry.
Yes,
Go ahead. Tell us what you've been up to.
I was working on that for a while. Also kind of refreshing con stuff, making new merchandise. I had a couple new pin Kickstarters and have been working on my own original graphic novel.
Awesome. Do you have any, is it still in, pitch packet stage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm finalizing sample pages right now.
Awesome.
And hoping to take it around with my agent by end of April.
Awesome. Oh, that's so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really sick.
Yeah.
How long have you been working on it?
Ages.
Really?
Ages. It's one of those stories that's been cooking forever and ever and ever.
I feel that. Tell us a bit about your relationship to Tamara Pierce's work.
Yeah, I read Circle of Magic books growing up. There are bits that completely stuck with me forever, especially weaving magic. That's the bit that's yeah. I do cross stitch now as a hobby, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, I read Circle of Magic and just a voracious reader in general.
Absolutely. We did the Alana books, but we haven't done Circle of Magic.
Oh
so that's on our list. We gotta do a deep dive into Circle of Magic.
It was fun. The Alana books were great. I haven't read them when I was younger, so reading them as an adult was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when we get to read children's books as adults. Like we did Animorphs.
Yes.
One of the best series I've ever read. I read it when I was 30, and I was like, this is the most traumatizing and best series I've ever read.
Also, K.A. Applegate is amazing.
Incredible.
An incredible
Yeah.
person.
Incredible.
Incredible person, yeah.
So the part of the reason we wanted to talk to you, A, we had fun talking to you last time. B, we've been thinking a lot about adaptations lately. And so I would like to know a bit about the process of working on a book like this, where you are taking, something that already exists and you're adapting it into a totally new form. What kind of freedom did you have while doing that? And then what kind of restrictions did you have?
Yeah. So I got full freedom to propose whatever I wanted. And then there were a lot of revisions back and forth. Tammy was very involved in the entire process, and it was really cool to get to work with her on that. But I got to, within historical accuracy and accuracy to her world, the whole Tortall world, design clothing, design indicators of royalty, environmental design, everything like that. I was really excited to do, Kel obviously, but Neil is my favorite. And so getting to design Neil and his whole character design, and I just made him really spiky and pointy. And it was just stuff like that where it was being able to translate something you've known into something new and really the collaboration that got us to where it wound up. But so yes, it's, I had freedoms. I also had restrictions. Tammy is very, very conscious of her fandom really being true to how she wrote the books and making sure that those facts stay accurate. There are parts during the tilting scenes, anytime they are not actively doing the tilting, the lances have to be directly upright in every single panel, which compositionally in a comic is really interesting. But I made it work. But it was one of those things where it was like I had no clue about that and did have a different composition entirely in those pages until I heard that it needed to be like that. So things like that.
Stuff you really don't expect.
Yeah, stuff where I was like, oh, okay, sure. I'll make it work. Vertical lines in comics.
And I should say, Mary, because you're not familiar with the series. So the first test is it's another quartet, right? Kel is the first female knight, or page, thank you,
Page.
to join after Alana makes it possible for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also one of the first heroines in the series to not have a form of magic.
Which that's what you and Joey were talking about.
Yeah, which sets it kind of apart from other works in the broader world of Tortall.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the approval process like? Did it have to go through like multiple people, or how does that kind of work?
It was Tammy, essentially, for character design and stuff. And in terms of like panels and thumbnails and pencils and stuff, the editors had to approve, and also Tammy had to approve. She did take a look at pretty much everything to make sure things like the lances and everything like that. So it was a lot of back and forth. Honestly, the project did take a long time, and it was largely in part to all of the back and forth, making sure.
This came out 2024?
Yes.
Right? So that's like, I mean, we talked to you in 2019, so that's like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And
book
course,
publishing moves slow.
It does. And the pandemic did not help.
Yes.
But it was like, since she was so involved, it did take longer than one might expect for such a project.
Yeah. Have you worked on any other like IP adaptation stuff? Because I'm just curious about, this seems very involved.
I did like a mini 2-page thing for Boom of WWE.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
Love that.
That's amazing.
And like doing covers, like I did a cover for Gem and the Holograms at one point, stuff like that.
Kind of a different.
Yeah, I did some cards for the Star Wars Unlimited game that's out now, and like that one was equally as involved
I can
as
imagine.
the first test. Lucasfilm is very particular. But super fun. Really great to be able to do a project like that where Star Wars was what I grew up with. And that was like a dream.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This,
I can imagine that was
a big
particular,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were yes.
Well, they know everyone's going to be looking at absolutely everything, and they'll let you know. They'll
Yes.
let you know.
if there's one thing that Star Wars fans are not, it's shy about letting you know.
Sharing their opinions.
It is sharing their opinions. Where am I? How did you approach character design and that kind of stuff for the graphic novel? Because like, again, you're working with something that is established not only like in a universe, but very concretely in people's minds.
Mm-hmm. I reread the books to make sure they were fresh. And I took notes throughout the books of things that really stood out to me that were like defining features, and really was interested in like, also this is a group of children. Like I wanted them to look like children. I wanted them to, strong children are kind of roly-poly at times and they're just like bumbling around, stuff like that. So it was a lot of that. Mostly, I love character design in general. So that's, I hate to say it's one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, these just come to me type of thing. But I really take a lot of joy in interpreting character descriptions into visual representations.
That's awesome.
So that was like a fun, a really fun part of the process is like translating language into visual.
Yes, I love that stuff.
Awesome.
I could never.
And how does that process differ from creating original work or fan work? Because you do both.
Yes. I mean, so fan work, there's the pre-existing image most of the time. I do love to do, fan art of a book where there is not necessarily. But when it's original stuff, I kind of just go with what I like, which is I say what I like, but there are a lot of things I like, and what is most important to me is the cohesive character. And so it really, the personality plays into it, the world plays into it, the limitations too of like clothing and structure of clothing and armor, stuff like that, making sure that everything kind of works physically. Doing fan art of visually pre-existing characters is always interesting in terms of, like, sometimes people... I mean, okay, so the biggest one that I've dealt with is Jason Todd versus Shiro from Voltron.
Okay.
Where it's sometimes people see a character and they identify it and it's not right, or it's just, you know, that's the character that speaks more to them, and I have learned in those situations to kind of just roll with it. So if you've bought a Jason Todd or a Shiro from me, they are in fact all Jason Todd.
I would like to be on the record as saying you do draw some of my favorite men.
Thank you.
And I say that especially because I just bought your Gale print, which has him wearing the I'm a luxury if you can afford sweater. And I just want to say that I appreciate that you give him lines on his face.
Yeah. He is older.
Yeah.
He is older.
It's part of the whole thing.
Yeah. No one wants to they all want to make him super hot.
And he's just a silly little guy.
Smooth. Because also men with lines on their face are super hot.
Yeah, I'm 37.
Yes.
Like, I want to be seeing lines on their faces.
No, the little, like, glass skin boys, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm too old for you.
And you've got his tattoo going up to his face, too, which sometimes gets left off. I'm very particular about my Gale fan art.
Good.
So, I just want it known that we have a whole thing going about...
There's too many Gale haters, is my opinion.
Mary's not even a Gale...
I'm not even a Gale lover. I just dislike the discourse between why people dislike Gale.
Yes.
It's the whole thing.
It's a whole thing. What kinds of considerations are there for when you're working with an established IP like this versus fan works or original works? Like, is the way you approach it different? Is there different things you have to keep in mind?
Well, for this one specifically, since it is being published, I do have to work within whatever they decide is the final product. So even if it's something that I think is a really great idea or is like really cool looking or whatever, it's like, nope, they get final say, and that is just part of it. When it's fan art or original stuff, I get to do whatever I want. And there is fun in that also. So that's really the biggest difference.
That's the biggest thing. And I'm curious, because you did the visuals, and then how closely did you work with the writer for it?
I actually did not.
Interesting.
They had the script like completely done by the time I signed on. So I just got the script. And, I mean, Devin did a great job. It was really wonderful. It's also very helpful to work off of a script of a person who works in comics.
Yes.
In general, who understands the media. So, yeah.
That had to be very helpful.
Yes, it was. Especially, the transition from prose to graphic novel. Very, very helpful to have somebody who understands comics.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, I've had people ask me, like, would you write comics before? And I'm like, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to write a comic. I don't even think that way. Like,
it is a whole different way of thinking. Like, literally.
Lots of visual.
Yeah. I'm lucky if I can think of a single visual when I'm writing. I'm not one of those people. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we'll talk about it earlier in the episode of the podcast that this will be attached to. But Mary and I have been thinking a lot about adaptation because we are filthy little Wuthering Heights film enjoyers. We're not going to make you discuss Wuthering Heights because, as we talked about earlier, you have no
feelings in any direction.
You're totally fine. We will not require you to have them. And that is the correct way to be. But when it comes to adapting a beloved property like Tamara Pierce's work, which is, like, again, hugely influential to me, hugely influential to, like, just tons and tons and tons of people, what kinds of pressure or faithfulness do you personally feel you owe to the original? And what do you feel like can be left aside?
there are a lot of aspects of defining features, you know, which are the notes I took during my rereads, stuff like that. There's also the things that Tammy pointed out were very important. Things like Alana's necklace in the few short pages she is in the graphic novel. It's things like that as a lover of media in general, I understand are important. And yeah, I mean, the greatest amount of satisfaction I take out of my work is making art that excites people, that they connect to, and like helps or brings the joy of whatever it is out in them. Like, I just want people to enjoy things. And like a lot of the time I make fan art or, you know, whatever, to be like, I enjoy this and I want to celebrate it with you, even if you don't know what it is. Like, I still want you to understand, like, this means something to a lot of people. So, very important to me on all of those things. There is one thing in the graphic novel that I did mess up, and is hair color in later pictures, in like the very last fourth of the book. And the hair color, he's supposed to have black hair, and in it he has orange hair, and it is entirely because of flatting. And I just did not replace the orange with black. Oh no. Like, the orange was the placeholder. And I feel so bad about it, because also too, it is in reviews that I have read. And I'm like, I get it. I totally get it. And I totally missed it. That's my bad.
Just for people who don't know, can you give just like a brief description of what flatting is?
Oh, yeah. So between the stages of making a comic book, right after you finish doing inks, which are all of the outlines, and doing final colors, which is when it makes it look really pretty, is flatting, where you basically fill in empty fields behind the ink of base color to then build on top of. So it's like, a lot of people, when you hire a flatter, and I worked with my friend Elise, who did a wonderful job of flatting for me, they will make the flat fields really weird colors so that you know to change them to what they should be in finals. And that is where that one got lost. The orange was apparently too much of a normal person hair color that I did not catch it.
Yeah.
So when you're now comparing, I mean, this was a very specific, like, again, very involved process with the original creator. How about when you're looking at fan works? How much faithfulness do you feel that you need to apply versus how, like, what can be left aside?
Well, I like to introduce as much body diversity as I can into fan works. So especially, like, on older characters, like with Gale, I like to include stuff that indicates, like, yes, this is an older character, or yes, perhaps this character is not the most fit character of all time. Like, technically, Gale is just a wizard.
Why
is he so buff?
And
the only justification I have for that is that he had nothing else to do but crunches.
He's alone in his tower. He doesn't want to blow up the world, and
he's just up there doing crunches
doesn't even
all
have
day.
High strength, though.
No, you don't have to be strong. He just
also,
is
maybe
crunching.
He's just illusioned it the entire time.
Well, he has the enchanted underwear. And there, personal theory, he enchanted his underwear to give him a six pack.
So that he was always ripped.
That's
visually.
Yeah.
I would love to see him lift anything.
Yes.
I think he would throw his back out.
He would.
And he'd be better for it.
And it's like, I want him to have a little belly.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Yes.
Stuff like that. That happened a lot when I was doing, like, Overwatch fan art. Loved to give Cole Cassidy a little belly.
Yes.
Lots of body hair. All of that. I love to leave body hair on characters.
Oh my God, we've been having such a discussion about body hair.
Especially when it's stuff where it's like, in this setting, there was no reason to not have body hair.
Yes.
Or no real, like, way to get rid of body hair. You know, I see, even looking at, like, actual art history and like romantic and rococo painting, stuff like that, women do not have like armpit hair in some of them, you know? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, there definitely was armpit hair. I don't know how they were getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, where it's like, I like to make characters that are still recognizable, but feel more real in those ways.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
There are so many, of course, like, there's so many ways to do art and have it be, you know, good and interesting. I personally am very invested in art that is less about idealizing the physical form. And it's not even about like necessarily representational, like being 100% true to life, but like embracing that hotness comes in many forms.
Yes, that is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
I love to draw hot people, and all people are hot.
Yeah, hotness does not only look like one specific thing.
Yeah. Gale would have been just as hot in the game itself
Yes.
if he'd had a little belly.
Exactly. And nobody gets to have a little belly. And sorry, I'm going to go on I have to be careful. I'm going to go on a Baldur's Gate 3 rant about bodies. I've already done it before. You can go listen to the side quest episode. However, Gale should have a little belly. This is Gale Little Belly Truthers moment.
Yes. I feel like he enjoys a little dessert.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Wine? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The more expensive, the more he's going to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
The richer it's going to be, and the bellier is going to be full.
Exactly. Now I think is actually the perfect time to bring up what I was going to bring up, which is the scene where you're on the rooftop and you meet Tara, and he's like, if you come to my house, I'm going to make you this delicious meal. And Mary had heard nothing but Gale hate. And she watches this scene go on. And then she just turns to me, for the listener, I'm just turning dramatically to Becca with my mouth open. This is what she did. And she's like, people hate this man? And I was like, I don't know, Mary. We live in a strange world.
We live in a strange world.
The thing is, I don't hate Gale. I just am disappointed in his choices at times.
Oh, you're so right. That's why I love him.
I love him. Yeah. I love a bad choice.
The worse the man, the better.
Yeah.
I have terrible taste.
Same.
A little lighter question.
Yes.
What is your favorite adaptation?
Oh, God. Holes, the movie.
Oh, good choice.
Holes, the movie from the book, which are both excellent. Also, Kiss and Kate Barlow, formative.
Yes, for sure. Do you have a favorite fan work?
Ooh.
I mean, like, I read so much fan fiction. I don't think I can pick a favorite.
That's so fair. I was actually thinking about this recently, and I was like, I don't think I can pick a favorite, but I can pick 3 favorites.
I'm very particular with my bookmarks. And so, I've been reading fan fiction since... my fan fiction that I've read in my life could drive cars by now.
Yeah.
Like, my bookmarks stay very sacred, and I am very, very particular with them. So I think I have total on AO3 maybe 80 bookmarks.
Wow.
Of and that's since I started at AO3, which was 2012.
That's wild. That is some curation.
Yes.
That is.
So it's like I can go there and be like, these are my favorites. Usually, one of the most formative ones for me is Veritas, which is a Spurk fic.
Okay.
It's like a 200,000 epic where it's like they have to go through a trial claiming like Kirk is getting tried for being emotionally compromised. And it's like they go into it not being in a relationship, and throughout the course of this trial kind of have to deal with the fact like, oh, maybe this accusation was not baseless. Oops. So that's one.
Good.
Yeah.
I love fan work is incredible.
It's great.
Yeah. That's one where I'm like, that's been a forever in my bookmarks. I think I read that one like 2010 after the 2009 movie. Yeah.
Amazing. And we don't have to talk about fan works for this part of the question. What's your least favorite adaptation?
Oh God. Man.
And what don't you like about it?
Any of the live action Disney movies.
Okay.
So fair.
I mean, also, so like, not Disney. Live action How to Train Your Dragon. Dragon's still animated. Mm-hmm. The dragon's still animated. Why
They didn't
would you
get a real
bother?
dragon.
I watched it and I was like, but why?
Yeah, why would you bother? Also,
But why?
Hiccup, perfect. That's another, hot boy. Hot boy that's not unnecessarily traditional, idealized, whatever. Yeah, love that kid.
Yeah, the live action, okay.
The only one I've seen is Aladdin.
I've seen Beauty and the Beast. Lilo
I saw
and
Beauty and the
Stitch. Beauty and the
Beast.
Beast was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. I haven't seen the Cinderella, but
Aladdin was all right. I like the extra dancing. I like the dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I do like to watch a person
You like-
dance.
like-
I like a costume design, I
Yeah.
guess, but like truly, they are only doing them to keep the IP, like
Yes.
the rights to it, and
Yes.
they use the same storyboarding even because why would they bother making new storyboarding?
They don't need to.
Right.
I don't know. I watch a lot of Disney with my kid because she's of that age, and we don't even turn on those because we get so much more out of the animated. I personally am very much a fan of animation over live action because I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Yes.
And the animated series are where my Star Wars
Clone
is.
Wars?
Yeah, Clone Wars. I watched all of it in a month and a half. All of it. In a month and a
Incredible.
half. It's my favorite thing ever. And so when they start bringing these characters in, I'm like, no, leave them
Put 'em
out.
back.
I saw,
Put 'em back.
I saw the Drop of the Hat Stinky at live, and I'm like, why is he so buff and big? I hate this. My husband's like, this is awesome. I'm like, you're wrong. Keep them animated, please. It's cool to see. And then you're like, what?
The
But
worst.
you could do a fan cast. That's then you get the same thing out of it.
Yeah.
Truly, the worst thing that's ever happened to Mary was when they announced that they were going to make Ahsoka live action.
I watched it, and it was okay. But Ahsoka's that's my.
Yeah.
That's
I remember
your comfort
yeah,
character.
We were, on the podcast I had started watching this, and I said, I think Ahsoka's my new favorite character. And Missy goes, even over Sailor Moon? And I go, yeah, I think so. And I was like, whoa. So, yeah.
Big moment.
Yeah. The only person I've ever paid to get a sign from is Ashley Eckstein.
Oh my God.
She's so sweet.
Good.
Yeah, she's the only person I've ever paid.
Good.
And she was so nice.
I love that for you.
Yeah, so I do love Star Wars.
Are there any questions we didn't ask? Anything else you want to talk about that we didn't get a chance to bring up?
No, not really. I mean, I hope everyone's excited for my original graphic novel when
Absolutely.
it happens, even though I can't really talk about that. This is another. I'll leave you on a cliffhanger
Yes,
with
we'll
this
get
one. Last time.
When this one
Hopefully-
comes out.
Hopefully it won't be 7 years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully we won't have another
won't be.
pandemic.
Yeah.
No, we won't. We
Knock
won't.
on wood.
It won't happen. I refuse.
Mary personally will stop
Nope,
it.
It will not happen. I refuse.
And where can people find you and your work and all
Yeah.
of the neat projects you're working on?
So my social media is all the same. It is all at rfarrowster, which, by the way, is a username that my father gave me when I was like 12. So
Can I just say something really important because I know that you
Yes.
should appreciate it is one of my first social media accounts was on neopets.com, and I need
Yes.
everyone to know that my first neopet was a Corbat named Numare11 because I was 11 years old.
oh my God. Also, by the way, I made Numair so hot on purpose. He's literally...
You're right.
I'm drawing a book full of children, and I was like, I'm about to take all of my other energy out on the handful of old characters, and yeah.
I showed Mary. I was like, Mary, you have to see fan art of Numare because you need to understand where I was at when
Yeah.
I was 11. And she's like, yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. And I was like, yeah, I would. I've always been the same person since I was 11 years old. I had to surrender. I surrendered Numare 11 to the pound in Neopets because I couldn't afford to feed him.
Yeah.
And I cried.
Yeah. Oh, I got banned from Neopets. My mother banned
I.
me from it because I was too emotionally attached.
Oh, no.
And I did also cry.
Yeah.
They were all dead in my mind.
I kept getting banned for doing gay role play.
Oh, shit.
You would.
But I did keep the account that I made Numare 11 on. I managed to keep that one through all of the bans. So I have how old am I?
37.
37. I have a 26-year-old Neopets account.
Wow. Congrats.
Big achievement for me. Anyway, you can find you everywhere.
Yes,
Our Farrow
I've got
store.
in like my website, beccafarrow.com.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
thank
It's been
you.
fun to talk to you.
Yes.
And you can pick up First Test at your local bookstore.
Yes, please buy from your local bookstore.
Well, bam.
Well, bam. Thanks so much for joining us. That'll do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed those interviews. We had a fucking blast doing them. They were so much fun. Thank you. A huge thank you again to Ren Strapp and Becca Farrow for sitting down to talk to us. What great conversations. They were just so
Excellent.
so fun and so interesting. I'm so glad they were really willing to get into the weeds with us on some of those topics. You can find us online at fakeitgirlscast.com. If you enjoyed this episode, consider leaving us a review on your podcast service of choice. And our next episode will be on the first chunk of the Alien movies,
So good.
which is already recorded.
It was so good. It was a great conversation.
And that will be followed by the second book in the Time Quartet or Quintet, which is A Wind in the Door. And then the remainder of the Alien series and so on and so forth. So that's it.
All right. Catch you on the flip side.